Okay, so first of all, those of you who are thinking about COIL, it stands for Collaborative Online International Learning. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. We created the CUNY COIL working group in 2019. We have a lot of members, so this is a very good time to be learning about COIL because there is a community that can provide you with support. We can move forward, Amy.
Okay, I'm just telling Linda to come in. Sorry. Okay, well, we're going to be speaking about COIL, which is a type of virtual exchange. As you can see, there's different types, and virtual exchange really began in the 90s with the advent of the internet, and it's a pedagogy, and it consists of sustained technology-enabled education activities or programs in which students or individuals link, and it's either between countries, students in countries, different countries, or even just different cultures. So telecollaboration, as you see from this diagram, was really the first one. That started with language classes, language learners, and they linked. Then the next one that really became popular was with business classes, so that they could teach their, let's say, marketing students how to or really just expose them to what they'd be doing in a global learning environment in an organization. And the one that we're going to speak about is called COIL, which is Collaborative Online International Learning on the bottom left. And it emphasizes collaboration and student learning. So basically what COIL is it is a collaboration with professors. So let's say professors in either 2 or 3 countries will design a shared syllabi. It would be like a project that enhances probably the subject matter of what they are already teaching, because it's embedded into a already a credit bearing course normally. And basically what they do is they design, the classic is 3 different projects, 3 different activities for the project, and the students collaboratively undertake the 3 activities. And basically what it does is it humanizes the different cultures. So there's an emphasis on cross-cultural awareness. And as I was saying before, the cultures become, the students really learn about the cultures through a person. So they have a team of, let's say, 2 students from your US class and 2 students from, let's say, a class in France, for example. And then they collaborate, and then their last project is an activity where they create knowledge together. So the next slide is, I'm sorry, I think I doubled ahead. These are some of the benefits of COIL, and it really has tremendous benefits, students, faculty, and even for an institution. As you can see, I don't really need to tell you, if you can read, that there's a lot of benefits for students. A lot of the benefits are in the form of employment competencies. They learn about, they get global citizenship, global learning, global issues. And that's really what's nice about COIL, is it's not really necessarily about the subject matter. It's looking at a subject matter from different perspectives. They're also have access to digital learning. They're able to construct knowledge across differences. For faculty as well, it is wonderful. First, I say it's exciting, because it is. It's so much fun. One of the professors in my COIL group said that it's magical, and it is. You get like so excited when you're doing a COIL project, and there's tremendous amount of scholarship opportunities as a result. And for an institution, it is, you're developing pedagogy, cutting edge pedagogy, your faculty, and it, as you can see, increased student recruitment, increased student engagement, and faculty publication. Okay, there was a study done by Evolve, which stands for Evidence Validated Online Learning Through Virtual Exchange. It's a EU sponsored project, and they did a study with 16 exchange projects. And what the results of this was that I'm sorry, both student perceptions and competencies were increased, and faculty pedagogy was increased. For example, um, let's see what here. It confirms that VE implementation impacts teachers' quality teaching competencies such as course design skills, organizational skills, flexibility, ability to adapt, and student centeredness, which is really extremely important now during this pandemic and during this virtual learning. Okay. Did you want to speak, Olga?
I need to sign out, but we just wanted to share. I'll do the slide real quick. We just wanted to share with you some of the impact on CUNY students. So you have, for example, a few excerpts from students in Amy's class, right, at the top. So people are talking, students are talking about having fun, talking about different perspectives, right? And this is a very important topic that Amy is doing. So you can see that there is a common humanity there also that students are appreciating, and they get exposed to some of the topics that, like, for example, partition of India, that is not widely taught in the American educational system. So they get to really hear uh, about global events from people who may have experienced them, and can really give them not just an American narrative, but a perspective of those who experienced the event. So I apologize, but I do have to go. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you, Olga. I apologize too. Okay, so I'll just talk a couple more minutes. I can't really speak to the other slides about Guttman and LaGuardia, but what we wanted to do is we wanted to show you like examples, what's going on, because COIL is across many colleges in CUNY. So COIL at Hostos, for example, was a ground up um, initiative. So we really started it. So what I did was I piloted a quail project between Hostos, an introduction to criminal justice, and those were some of the words that my students over here they spoke about how much they enjoyed it and what they learned. And I linked with an international criminal justice class with at the Hague University of Applied Sciences, and that was really really exciting. That was my first coil, and so that's how I really got interested, because my students, for example, would go to criminal court and they would talk about that, and then the students at the Hague went to the ICC and talked and saw genocide trials, and that was really mind blowing for everybody. Then we became a subcommittee of our Educational Technology Leadership Council, and then other faculty were able to engage in COIL um, and virtual exchange. Then, actually, this year we became an actual committee under our assistant dean. We've presented to new faculty, and we will at the end of the year, Professional Development Day. And what we did, being such a presence, is we re-energized the study abroad program at our college. And so now there is a globalization presence under Dean Diaz with study abroad and COIL, which is not, at some colleges it's not like that. And then many grants have been obtained and international presentations have resulted. So for example, I'll talk about this one. This is a virtual exchange. It's not a COIL. So one of the professors on my committee and also in my department did this very fascinating challenge with her students, and it was I think she did it with a public administration club, and so she didn't do it with her class because there could only be a certain number of students, so she did it with like 6 students, and she did it with students in Jordan, and so they had to create something that something that would relate to sustainable development, and they created an app. So I'm not sure if I can show any of this here, but if I could, nope, yeah, nope, I can't. Okay, so her students created an app, and actually I'm gonna probably have this, you'll be able to see these slides later on, so maybe you can click into those slides that would show the app. And they had a business fair, and it was a wonderful experience. She said for the students, they wanted it to continue, really. This is an example of my course that I did this semester with a French business school. It was like a master's level course, so you don't even have to do it from the same level. And COIL is really the classic COIL are three different activities. So activity one is normally an icebreaker. So we did videos. So everybody posted a video so that the students got to see the students in their class, which was great because sometimes they don't get to know the students in their own class, especially if it's virtual. And then they got to know the students from the other class in Paris. And also, what is so wonderful is that the professors really get to know their own students. I know, I found that very, very wonderful. And then we didn't have a synchronous meeting, but what the students from both classes did was they were able to come to a special presentation. This was on data privacy, and I was able to get a speaker, an attorney who does data privacy, and he came and spoke. So both classes were there, and the students were able to interact there. Then activity two is usually cultural, where they get to know each other's cultures. But again, they get to know people because they're in teams and they do everything in teams. So two students from my class at Hostos and two students from the Paris class did each of the activities together. So they were group one, they were group two, and what they did was they taught each other about government, our government. We learned about their government, and then we learned about their privacy laws, and we taught them about ours. And then the third one was a conversation where they had to speak about their perceptions of the laws, whether it really affected them or not. And that also turned out to be a wonderful experience. We had assessment pre and post COIL. And so at Guttman, they actually have a global learning environment. I can't really speak to this. And then LaGuardia has a very, very advanced program of COIL. And Olga has been running this program. And she has 65 courses across different disciplines, a lot of development. She has a colloquia, and you can read all this. They receive certificates. It's really the most developed COIL of all the CUNY COILs. So these are the different missions or priorities at CUNY. And so we feel that COIL really aligns with all of them: diversity, equity, and inclusion, career success, and innovative high impact practices. And we actually were just added to the CUNY Innovative Teaching Academy. COIL was just added. So we were very happy about that and very proud about that. So these are the COIL programs. There are more, but we just wanted to give you somewhat of a list of some of the campuses that have COIL. And so we are Guttman, I guess, since 2020, and Hostos since 2019. So the COIL across CUNY has grown pretty much. This year, not so much because of the pandemic, but it's, oops, I just want to show this something here. But it's pretty exciting because the COIL working group has given COIL PD. And so you can see all the groups that are involved, all the campuses. And we've also, all the different campuses have gotten external grants. So, oops, we can just show you all the connections across CUNY with the different partners, over 48 partners that all the campuses have connected with. And we've gotten grants. For example, I and Olga, we got a grant, a French embassy and Face Foundation grants. Um, and basically, what I did was I was able to develop my coil this semester with the French professor from the school, a business school, and so in data privacy, and she was able to develop something with five of her professors. Um, and so we were able to get a grant. There's a lot of scholarship grants, scholarship opportunities from doing COIL. We got this huge grant that's supported by, that was given by Stevens. It's the Aspen Institute. We got $750,000, and we really initiated the grant, the five of us, and we also have it with four universities in the MENA region. And so we're doing that right now, and we're recruiting on our campuses right now. So we're going to give a professional development to our faculty in the summer on how to develop coils. Plus, it will have an experiential learning aspect. And so these are the five CUNYs that are involved, and these are the four universities in the Middle East. So we're right now developing the professional development classes. We're going to have them, as I said, over the summer, and then in the fall and in the spring next year, the classes will run, and then we have it also for the next year. So we're really looking forward to that. And it's called GSACs. And so we really see this as becoming, or hoping that it becomes institutionalized. So while it started with a CUNY COIL working group, we really envision it as becoming a consortium where it's on every single campus and it is supported by CUNY Central. That's what we are hoping for. I'm sorry, I just want to go back a little. And we found that there's over 90 CUNY faculty interested in COIL, and we had two COIL sessions, 101s, like one in November and one in February, and we had over 50 CUNY faculty who attended. We've also presented at the SPS Online Teaching Essentials, at the CUNY Innovative Teaching Academy. We now have a collaboration with WC2 that is now headed by Dean Birdsell at Baruch. And there's a special COIL part where anybody who wants to find a partner in COIL can now go to the WC2. And so the problem is that we are stretched to capacity, and we really need external funding to keep doing what we're doing. And so it's very difficult because it's not sustainable, because you have a grant and then it goes away. So what we're looking for and hoping for is CUNY Central to you know to make us institutionalized. So these are the different campuses, and we thought that maybe we'd have people from different campuses attending today. So maybe you'd be interested in finding out who on your campus is your point person or your liaison. Okay, that is it. That's our end. Thank you very much. Are there any questions from anyone?
Hey, Amy, this is Nick. So, like, it sounds like per your design that COIL is generally set out as like a multi-year program. Like,
Well, what it is it's an integrated into your course. And what
uh-huh,
you do is you collaborate with a professor from another country, usually, and it could be just from a different culture, but usually from another country, and you design three activities
I gotcha.
where you
Okay, that's the
practice
right.
together. So usually it's like 5 to 12 weeks. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever you want with your partner. And so I generally do it for minimally like 6 weeks or something, because you have to have those three activities. They have to get to know each other. They have to get to
Right.
trust each other, and then they do the activities together.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, the criminal justice stories from other countries is very interesting because that sort of like, you know, builds empathy and perspective across boundaries, and that's just, you know, you realize, yeah, law is very different everywhere you go. So
Yeah, I
very
know.
cool.
And I'm lucky because that's what I teach. So
Yeah,
just
kudos.
been amazing for me too. That's the thing, for professors, it's this
I
amazing,
bet.
and once you do it, you
Yeah,
like always want to do it. You want to do it in every class because it's fun, and you learn a lot. You learn about the other professors, you learn
yeah,
about the cultures and the laws, like I don't know that much about data privacy. Well, I learned a lot.
right,
you
right.
know
Yeah,
and so it's great, and the students love it. They make friends. One student in my class this year said that, oh my God, we have someone in the family that does missionary work in Africa, and we thought she was nuts, but she goes, now I just want to go around the world.
wow, that's
you
cool.
know and it's really, really for the NACE competencies, for the uh for competencies for employers. Almost every single one of the competencies is developed by Coil. The teamwork, the
Oh,
present,
dig it. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, okay.
and they put it on their resume. I just had my uh, career services director come to my class to kind of teach the students, because sometimes the students don't realize what skills they're obtaining. So
Right,
she was going over all the skills, and then we gave a certificate. So they, tells them to put their certificate, with their resume, and then the students learn about how to explain and describe these competencies to future employers.
right. Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.